You're way more beautiful up here. Thank you. All right. Give me my 10 seconds of figuring out technology. There we go. All right, today we're going to talk about burning ships. Yeah, we like burning stuff. Some of you are too excited about burning stuff. So I don't know if you're like me, but I have a hard time deciding when I go to a new restaurant on what to order. Now, this is a picture of a guy deciding. This is not a new restaurant. This is McDonald's, but just pretend it's a newer restaurant. I don't know if you're like me, but when I go to a new restaurant, I'll walk in, and the person will be like, "Hi, welcome to something, 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 and how can I help you?" Yeah. And I'll look at the menu, and already in my head, I'll have kind of one or two ideas of what I think I would like. But even though I know I kind of want either this one or that one, I just go ahead and say, "Yeah, what's good here? What do you recommend?" And the worst is when they say, "Well, everything's good here." Oh, man, when that happens, that's frustrating. It's like, I know everything is absolutely delicious, but what is really good here? Well, everything's really good. What's really, really good here? And sometimes then they'll say, "Oh, well, we recommend," and as they're recommending their choice, I'm secretly hoping that they're going to pick one of the two options that I already know that I want. Like, they're going to validate it. And then they're going to say, "No, I like this one and this one are popular." And it's none of those two. Oh. In my head, you don't want those. Yeah, okay, but how does this one taste? And they're, of course, they give a half smile because they probably it happens all the time. And they're like, "Yes, that one is absolutely delicious." I'm like, "Okay, good. She just did what I wanted. She validated what I already knew I wanted." Okay, but then as soon as I'm ready to order, in my head I'm thinking, "Yeah, but that other one looked good too. But it's okay. Okay, I'll order this one." And then she said, "Oh, good choice." And then she's putting it in. And then in my head, I'm like, "No, that other one would have been so good. It's got bacon. You should get the other one." "I'm so sorry, ma'am. Would it not be too late? I could actually switch to this one." "Sure, not too late at all." And then she's typing it in. And I'm like, "Yeah, but you like that kind of taste. But you already said it. I feel so bad to switch twice." So then she puts it in. And then she gives it to me. And I don't know if you're like me. I'll get that food. I'll sit down. I'll start eating. But the whole time I'm eating, I'm like, I should have got the other one. I should have got the other one. Why is it so hard to make decisions? For me, it's so hard to make decisions. Oh, my goodness. That's one of the things that's the hardest for me to do, especially like big life decisions. Those things are tough for me to do. But based on the nods I'm getting, I guess you can relate to my restaurant experience. In fact, I think all of us, at some point or another, have trouble making decisions. But it's the decisions we make that determine the outcomes in our life. And it's important that we make decisions. Do you know the people that make the 3%, the 1%, the top earners of the world in income have mastered the art of making decisions? The big achievers of the world in all aspects have mastered the art of making decisions. But it's the people that too often are just stuck in this, should I do it? Should I not do it? Are sitting there with untapped potential and a life full of unfulfilled dreams. For us to live the blessed life, we have to become good at making decisions. But too often, we are stuck in this tug of war. Do it, don't do it. Do it, don't do it. And outwardly, we look fine. We look normal, smile in the mirror, everything's fine. But inwardly, it's a war. And we're just stuck. Should I take the job? Should I not take the job? Should I go after this relationship? Should I not go after the relationship? Should I come to Sunday service? Should I not come to service? Should I get bubble tea or coffee? We have this do it, don't do it on small things and big things. And it's this war. And we just let it go on and on until eventually we don't make any decision at all. How many things in your life do you have going on that you've been stuck on this decision for a long time? How many things are you procrastinating thinking about just because you don't make that decision of whether to do it or not do it? It's a huge blocking point, but it's something we have to be able to master and do. What we need to do first is we have to think, we have to define our dream. What is it that you want? What is it that you want in your life? And sometimes we feel bad about it because it's like, we feel like it's maybe selfish. But it doesn't matter what it is, whether, sometimes even in the religious community, we can think, it's not what I want, it's what God wants. But either way, if you decide what you want is what God wants, then what God wants is what you want. Either way, it's what you want. You have to set your sights on a target. You have to decide what it is that I want. Too often, we may think we decide. It's like planting a seed. And we're like, I want carrots. And we put the little seed in and we start pouring some water. And then we're like, no, I want broccoli. And all of a sudden the carrot, you already poured it for like 3 months, the water, and it's about to sprout. And then we just go on to something else and just let it die. Now I want broccoli. Wait, didn't you say you wanted carrots? No, I want broccoli now. Now, I'm not talking about vegetables. Just take the vegetable and make it mean whatever it is in your life. The first step is we have to decide what it is we want. And that is the first crucial step. Let's see. Okay. So I had a picture in here, but I forgot to put it in. We live in Las Vegas, if you didn't know. When people come here and they visit and they go, so what kind of food is really like Las Vegas? For me, it's either a couple things. It's either all-you-can-eat sushi. That's a very interesting like Las Vegas thing because it's on. If you don't notice it, it's on every like street corner. And the other interesting part, it's not usually owned by a Japanese. I don't know if you ever thought about that. Kind of interesting. But the second thing is, okay, you've got to try the casino buffets. That's just something totally Las Vegas. And we have so many different kinds. And I don't know if you've gone to them before, but if you haven't, you got to go. And I think some of the good ones, the best budget one, I think, is the M Hotel, if you've ever been there. For like $17, you get everything. Bellagio is very good. The best, the cream of the crop, is generally known as the Caesars, the Bacchanal Buffet. Has anyone gone there? Nice, one person in the back. It's because it's probably the most expensive. It's like $65 a person. Yeah. In fact, our team, we hit our goal last month, so I owe them Bacchanal Buffet, and I'm not looking forward to that bill at all. But when you go there, it's just like endless food. And it's grouped by countries, so you can try everything from around the world. And it's a lot of fun, because I can have a little bit of this, ooh, and that looks good, and that looks good. So one time I went with my wife, and we sat down, and we're so excited because we just get a little bit of everything so we can try more. And we're kind of like, look at like a treasure chest. Like, look, I got this and this and this. Oh, yeah, and I'm eating it. And as I'm eating it, I realized some things are pretty good, but some things weren't as good as I thought. I'm like, I like that, but I don't really like this one. And then I'm excited by it. I look at my wife, and she's looking miserable, and she's eating, and I'm like, oh, what's wrong, honey? Oh, I didn't pick the right foods at all. I didn't like any of this. Oh, it's okay. Just, we finish our food. We're good people, unificationists, and we endure. And then we go get new plates, and I come back, and this time I mastered it. I already knew what I liked. I doubled down on that, tried a little bit different things. We come back, sit down, I'm excited, and my wife, she looks so sad. And I look, she's got the same food on her plate. I'm like, honey, why are you doing this? She's like, oh, it's so bad. Oh, no. I'm like, this is miserable. Okay, I made this story completely up. It's not true. But guess what? If life is buffet, you are like my wife. And so am I. So many times, we think we define what we want, and we don't get what we're looking for. But instead of changing the plate, we just kind of think, oh, woe is me. Oh, I have to keep eating this. Oh, no. See, that's the cool thing, is that in life, you have to make a decision. And that's the scary part. Because what happens is, we think, what if I get the decision wrong? What if I make the wrong decision? You know what's worse, 1,000, a billion, a jillion times worse than the wrong decision? No decision. If we make the decision and go, see how it goes. And if we do not like the results, we can change the plate. That's the beautiful thing. Sometimes we think when trials happen in our life, bad things happen in our life, sometimes we think this is the worst thing. But it's a prime opportunity. You tasted something on your buffet plate. And if you don't like it, you just now have the perfect time to say, I don't like this. I thought I would like it, but I realized I didn't. And now you can define what it is you really like. And you can turn your back on what you don't want and focus and turn your back on what you do not want and put 100% focus on what you do want. Don't think that just because something happens, it's going to be like that forever. You can change. You can update your decision. You can go further and further on what you want. So many times we're paranoid. We think that sometimes people always think that the world is out to get us. You got to think the opposite. The world is out to help you. And if a situation comes up and it's not what you thought, then perfect. This is a great. Redefine what it is you do want, turn your back on what you don't want, and completely focus. And when that happens, this is the hard, tricky part. Don't keep focusing on what you don't want. Don't let it consume you. It's there. It's there. Acknowledge it, but completely focus on what you do want. So I have a business, and we have a team here in Vegas that's working. A few times I've run into this challenge. Sometimes financial constraints or things happen to our business. It's frustrating. And it's a little bit overwhelming. But at that point, okay, it is what it is. So you look at the numbers, you look whatever it is you're looking at, but don't dwell on it because it's not what you want. So why give energy to it? Turn your back on it and completely focus on what it is you do want. Use that to say, you know what, this stinks. I don't like this, and turn it around. But you have to make a decision. And too often, what we think is you have to make a committed decision. And what a committed decision is you are invested into it. There's a big difference between wishful thinking and a committed decision. Many times I think I made a committed decision, but I realized it was more wishful thinking. How you'll know is if challenges come, do you just want to give up? Like, I'm going to do this. Yeah, I'm going to go. This is going to be great. And as soon as some challenges come, maybe I don't want to do this anymore. Maybe I want to give up. You have to be able to make a committed decision. I study this guy a lot. Besides Reverend Moon, our founder, probably the second person I study the most is him. And Napoleon Hill wrote a book, Think and Grow Rich. I quote it often, but he studied, I love principles. I love universal principles and seeing how they're applied. And he got to study the richest man in the world and the most successful people in the world. And one of the characters he found is, successful people make decisions quickly as soon as all the facts are available and change them very slowly, if ever. While unsuccessful people make decisions very slowly and change them often and quickly. Think about it in your own life. I think it's fair you can have all the facts. It's good to have all the facts and get all the information. But as soon as you have it, make the decision. Why? Because nothing's going to happen if you don't decide. You're just going to stick in the tug of war. But what happens with me, and I'm sure it happens with everyone, is we think, should I do it, not do it, do it, not do it? And then we ask other people for their opinion. Do you think I should do it? The worst is you'll ask your neighbors, or we'll think, what will the neighbors think, or what will my friends think? Guess what? Your neighbors and friends probably don't think. We stick in this tug of war. If we just make a decision and go for it, if it's the wrong decision, we can correct it and then go forward. But we got to decide. One of the greatest examples of people I think that could make a decision is the founder of our movement, Reverend Moon, Father Moon. And when he was a young man, 15? I get confused with the Asian years. Like if it's 15 and it's like converting currency, like 15 Korean, 12 and a half American, I'm not. Around 15 years old, if you can just imagine, Jesus came to him, explained his whole heart, and then asked him, would you be willing to take on this mission? What a decision. A very interesting one was around the same, a little later, about 7-8 years later, Napoleon Hill visited Andrew Carnegie. I'm going to tell that story first. So Andrew Carnegie owned U.S. Steel. He's the richest man in the world. He knew not much about steel. There's a whole principles there of how you can do it. But he was frustrated because he felt all the world's great achievers were going to go to the grave with all this knowledge in their bones when this could transform people's lives. He was looking for someone that could have the mission, that could write down the principles that these people followed. And when Napoleon Hill, a young reporter, just came to interview him, at the end of it, he said, this interview's not done. And Napoleon Hill is also a young man, I think early 20s. I'm not done? Yes. Come to my house. Would you please come to my house and spend a few days with me? I can teach you more. So he goes to his house. And if you would get to spend a few days with some of the most successful people in the world, you would start to notice some things. At the very end of it, Andrew Carnegie asked Napoleon Hill, and he said, I got a mission for you. And in this, you will not be getting compensated for at least 20 years, and I will not provide any financial help to you. But I will write letters of recommendation and introduce you to all of my friends and colleagues. But would you please study and understand the principles of achievement and put it in a coherent manner so that people in the world could untap their potential? And he asked him that, and it took Napoleon Hill about 30 seconds. And then he said he would. Unbeknownst to Napoleon Hill, Andrew Carnegie actually had a watch underneath his desk. And I forgot if it was a minute or 2 minutes, but if he took too long to make the decision, he knew he would never be able to accomplish this big goal. And it was a bit scary, but Napoleon Hill just spent the time with the guy. He had to know that what he was doing was honest, that he was sincere, but he was doing something that all his friends didn't understand, his parents didn't understand. They thought he was crazy. The other thing Andrew Carnegie told Napoleon Hill was, you have to be better than me. And Napoleon Hill laughed and said, me? I'm a little reporter. You're the richest guy in the world. And he made Napoleon Hill say a saying, here, I want you to repeat this every day in the mirror. Mr. Carnegie, I will not only equal your achievements in life, but I will meet you and pass you at the grandstand and exceed your achievements in life. And then he got that quote and he thought, this is so silly. I have to say this? And Andrew Carnegie said, yes, you do. And so he went home, and Andrew Carnegie told him, say it with pride. He was too embarrassed to say this stuff. What would his friends think? So he locked himself in the bathroom and was just like, Andrew Carnegie, I will not only beat your achievements, hoping no one hears him. But eventually he got bigger and bigger. It is said Andrew Carnegie has helped maybe 10, 20 people become millionaires in their life. Napoleon Hill's teachings have transformed millions of people. He exceeded Andrew Carnegie's results. But how did that happen? It's because at that moment, he didn't procrastinate and he made the decision that he would do it. Now let's go back. Imagine if you were, I'm double 15 years old or 40 years in Korean, whatever it is. And I imagine if Jesus came to me and asked that, 3 times actually, true father rejected, or 2 times rejected. On the 3rd time, he said he would. I don't blame him. I don't think I could do that kind of mission, knowing what it would entail. That's a big one. But as soon as that decision was made, as soon as he made that decision, he never went back. Understand, 15, 16 years old, he had ambitions. He wanted to get 4 doctorates and be a leading, business guy or philosopher guy. He had these big ambitions. He had to give up all of that. He wanted to be the hero of the world, which now he is, but many times doing what he was doing, he was many times seen as the villain. What a decision. But once that decision was made, never went back. Doesn't matter what trials happened in his life. And because of that, we are all here today. There's a saying, if you want to take the island, you have to burn the ships. I've heard it quoted from 3 or 4 different generals, so I don't know who's the one that actually did it, but the fabler goes that a general brought his army to an island, and they had 50, 60 people, and they were going to verse hundreds, if not thousands of people, and he could tell his men were scared. So he made an order, burn the ships. And as the ships were burning, he told his men, the only way we're going to get off this island is if we win. Another expression is take your hat and throw it across the fence. Because once it's there, you're going to know you have to cross the fence at least to go get it. What is it in your life that you are procrastinating a big decision on? Think about how much untapped potential there is with all of us. That we could do amazing, incredible things, but we're playing it small because we just haven't made the decision to do so. How much untapped potential is there for us to provide amazing benefit to this world? God needs us. And we're not doing favors by playing small in our life. We can be so great, but we sell ourselves short, not because we don't have the ability, not because we don't have the potential, because we just haven't made the decision, because we're scared. Let's make the habit of decision making. If you want to start small, when you go to a restaurant, watch how you order. But let's become great decision makers. Let's untap our potential. You can have all the success and blessings and love in life if you just decide to do it, to have it. It can all be yours. If we would just take that moment, burn the ships, figure out what it is. Maybe you need to sign a document. Maybe you need to call someone and say, I'll do it. Whatever it is, do something to burn the ship so you can't retreat. But make that decision. And if you can make that decision in your heart and go after what you know you already want, your life will never be the same. Join me in prayer.